good morning, afternoon, whatever it is. Welcome to the Rules and Regulations Committee meeting. I'm calling the meeting to order. And the first thing on the agenda, of course, is the approval of minutes from the July 9th meeting. Everybody had a chance to look? If not, they're on the back page, I think, right, the next page.
I move to approve the minutes from the July 9th meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, fabulous. Okay, so I think we have 3 policies under review today. So Tom, will you take it away, please?
So the first one is to the proposed changes to policy 1.04. This came at the request of some board members, basically term limits on the joint advisory committees. And so effective July 1st, which is the start of the new term, so their terms, the terms of committee members starts on July 1st. So that's why we started on that day as opposed to today's date or something like that.
Yeah.
Committee members may not serve for more than 6 consecutive years on a committee without taking a break of at least 12 months. Once a committee member has taken a 12-month break, they are eligible to serve up to 6 additional consecutive years, and the cycle repeats at that point. The limitation on not serving more than 6 consecutive years does apply to committee members serving prior, so there's no grandfather rule in place. The 6 consecutive year restriction is limited to serving on the same joint advisory committee. If interested, a member could apply for and continue to serve the community on another joint advisory committee if properly appointed. So a couple things in here. It gives basically a 2-term limit. It applies to current members. So if a current individual is serving, then this would be their last year. And we do have several that are currently serving on committees that are beyond the 6 years. I won't name names because we're talking about policy, we're not talking about individuals.
And they are staggered anyway, the committee members.
They're staggered.
Yeah.
They're already staggered. We also included in here that they must take a 12-month break. The reason why we did that is my last community, we had an interesting situation where we had term limits, and one of the committees got clever. The person hit their term limit. They did not nominate them. They were off the committee for a week, and then they were reappointed, and they came off the committee. They were off for 1 week. So at my last place, we ended up retroactively implementing a 12-month, so you can't get around it, the loophole, as they did.
That's pretty standard with things like this.
Yeah.
Something JB brought up that just made my wheels turn. What if we have multiple people that qualify for that 6, and so instead of just having 3 openings, say we ended up with 6 openings on a committee? Is that an issue?
They're
Not
staggered.
right now.
Yeah.
Not right now.
Okay. I mean, once this is implemented, it won't be an issue in the future. I was just worried about this particular
Right now,
situation.
no, we have it's just a couple.
Okay.
It's not. It's going to be okay.
I just didn't want to open a can of worms there.
No, I think that's okay. And that's maybe something that we look at for the ACC. We use slightly different language on appointing board members for the ACC, so unrelated to this Rules and Regulations Committee, where we used the term the board must have a reasonable number of individuals that would come on and off the board at any one time, and as opposed to a strict, it must be 2, 1, you know, like this. Instead of trying to rigidly map it out, we use the term in like a reasonable flow of individuals on, and so we could use that. I thought that was kind of creative language that we used, but that's neither here nor there on this one. So this would impose a term limit on our committees. Do note that this does not apply to the board.
No, this is joint advisory committees, yes,
And this was what was asked of
Right.
staff.
right. Well, I personally think that answers the mail. What do you guys think?
Agreed.
Okay with that?
Yeah?
Yeah, I was just gonna make a comment on the reason it doesn't apply to a board is you already have a mechanism for people to object to someone, there's a voting mechanism by
Right.
the membership, so that there's, already a process in place for that.
Great.
Okay,
Okay, so.
move that one forward.
Yep, we'll move that one forward to the board.
So the next one is, we're gonna talk about, member conduct, penalizing members and the appeal process. We're not gonna use names, but we just had an appeal, and we realized that there was some improvements that needed to be made. We included in the packet policy 4.01 on member conduct, just as reference. We're not proposing any changes, so
Yeah.
someone might have said, well, why did you include that? Because it kind of, when we send a suspension letter to a member, we give them all three of these policies. 4.01, 4.02, and then 4.02.1. So it's the whole thing. So, so that's what we did. So if you go to 4.02, which is penalizing a member, and you go down to section 2, you'll see that we added some language in there. Hold on, let me change on screen.
Am I in the way?
No, that's
Are you
no,
okay?
you're doing fine. I just picked the wrong one. Ah, there we go. I got it right. Okay. Okay. So section 2, you'll see that the chief executive officer shall inform the member by letter, that was an addition, of the rule, regulation, or policy which the member violated, the action taken, and the right of the member to appeal. Those always include, all that information is always included in every letter when we suspend it. It says, this is what you did, this is the policy you violated, this is your right to appeal. It includes everything, okay? And then we added, if an email address is available, the chief executive officer shall send a copy of the letter by email to the member. Additionally, the letter shall be sent by certified mail. So it's always going to go by certified letter. But if we have the email address, and we have, I don't even know, 80% of our property owners we have email addresses on. So we'll send that, and that way we can get it to them as quickly as possible. I also call.
So, my only concern is you do run into a fair amount of people that don't necessarily pay attention to their email on a regular basis unless they're expecting something. So do we really want to change the date to that, or to the date of the certified, or if the phone call has been acknowledged?
In some cases, we need to act rapidly.
Yeah.
Okay, I follow that logic.
In some cases, we're trying to impose the suspension as absolutely quickly as possible.
Should, and this would be, I guess, a Doug question, should we include that a phone call should also suffice as that notification being received? And they're more apt to listen to their voicemail than, like, I've got a Gmail account that literally catches all my garbage. Unless I'm looking for something in it, I'll never see it.
We could definitely add something that we'll attempt to call.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just like with emails, sometimes we don't have the right telephone number.
Right.
They don't answer, whatever.
Right? But for expediency, if that's our logic, let's add that in there too.
Would a personal visit be
I was just
appropriate?
gonna say,
No, because I don't want to be going to the person's
I don't,
house.
Yeah,
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
No, I
That
don't blame you.
none of this
There's-
you've been served stuff.
You can though.
No. Thank you.
Dave, good job, yeah.
Tom, have you had an instance where you've, like, face-to-face had someone, like where you've been called down to a restaurant, for example? Have you had a face-to-face before where you've had to suspend someone?
Yeah, I've had to do that. Yeah, I've had some ugly ones.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know why I think he was leaning back.
Yeah, I was
and maybe
leaning
it
too
was
far
picking-
back, so.
We got all these fans here, so it's causing a lot
yeah.
of ambient noise. So just lean a little bit more into the microphone.
Can we just put some verbiage in there that just says, the POA will make every attempt to contact this person ASAP? That way, you know, they're gonna get a certified letter, that's gonna happen.
But we'll also.
Email, I agree, email sometimes just goes to spam.
Yeah.
If they're not used to getting an email from the POA or whatever, it may just go to spam, they may never see it.
I mean, I usually find out, first of all, I'm usually fairly successful on the call.
Yeah,
The email, look, they usually, if I'm unsuccessful on the, what I'll do is I'll call them, I'll leave a voicemail, I'll send the email, and they always call me.
Yeah.
okay.
They always call me. So usually 95% of the time, they are notified the day of the suspension.
Yeah. And I agree with all that. My thought was, if we're cleaning this up, let's try to be as thorough as we can and all encompassing.
And the certified mail is the legal notice,
Yeah, that's
correct?
the backstop. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the backstop.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll add a reference about calling. I'm concerned about using every possible because,
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, because that could be a lot of things.
Telegram, smoke signals.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, and I don't want someone to, you know,
get out of it on technicality.
Yes.
Yes,
you know,
right.
maybe I don't know, I can't even, maybe they gave the telephone number to Member Resources and they copied it down wrong. Well, then you didn't do every, maybe that's not a really good
I think
example.
when
but I
you
think
use
it
the
sets us
language,
up.
they'll make every effort, it's different than
Yeah.
we will be required to do it
I
this
mean,
way.
I'd be okay with every reasonable effort,
Every
but
reasonable effort.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I like that.
Can I also suggest one other thing? The name of the policy is kind of, can we say
Negative.
like, yeah, can we say like rule violations or member
Consequences of rule violations.
member violations, something like that. I don't know. I just don't.
Just think of a different word, yeah.
Suspension of membership privileges.
Oh, that sounds, well,
Well, that's, yeah, I'm trying to think of what.
Maybe you guys like it. I'm just up in the
no, I agree.
You want to
penalize.
be more kindler, gentler.
Suspension, is it suspending a member? Penalizing, suspension, I don't know.
I'm okay with it as long as it's always a suspension. Is it always a suspension?
That's all we've got.
say
That's all we've
your
got.
comment again?
Penalizing.
Penalizing a member just seems kind of draconian.
As a
So,
title.
As a title to the very top of the
Ah,
page.
sorry.
Yeah.
Very,
you're talking
very
about
first
the-
word that I skipped
So
over.
suspending a member.
What is
or
a better
something.
word than?
Yeah,
That's what we're noodling here. Anyone have any other suggestions?
I could ask AI, but I'm
You
sure
can
you
say
wouldn't want
suspension
that.
of privileges.
Suspension of
Or
privileges.
membership suspension, or,
I think we gotta make sure it's really clear.
Yeah.
You can't soften this one. I'm fine with suspension or penalization. I'm fine with either, but I think it's gotta be pretty cut and dry.
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem penalizing. I'm not an attorney though. But, I mean, that's what it is. You
Yeah.
broke the rules and you're gonna serve a penalty for it. You're going in timeout.
What other we don't have, there is no other penalization,
Other than
penalty
suspension
other
of
than
privileges,
suspension.
yeah.
So why don't we just do suspension then?
Yeah, instead of
There's nothing
saying
that, we can't
penalizing.
fine them, we can't do anything like that.
suspend
Okay.
a member.
Okay.
That works.
All right.
The second point there.
Second point, so I added them, if the member is notified by email, the date the email is sent will be considered the date of notification. Otherwise, the date the certified letter is received by the member will be considered the date of notification. If an appeal is requested, the chief executive officer will do their best to schedule a hearing with the board as soon as reasonably possible.
So what if the it says here, the certified letter is received by the member. What if they don't pick it up for a while? What if, you know, that, because they don't just come and give it to you.
What if they don't see check their email?
They don't, or their certified mail. I mean, their mail, you know? I guess they do have to sign for it,
I'm
but,
gonna dock your pay if you keep on criticizing.
Yeah, question to that
no,
point.
you have every right to remove me from my job.
No, I don't have any.
Well, I know that. That's why I'm saying that.
Good question in the same vein. Is this purely for an appeals purpose? This date start, or?
No, this is the date when it kicks in.
When the suspension
Okay.
starts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, golf courses are easy, right? Well,
The golf courses that are by and large the easiest because our system
card.
allows us to flag the individual where it prevents them from playing.
right.
And the gym, tennis, anything where you're checking in, pools, it's usually golf.
Right.
We can't do much of anything about the parks, trails,
Right.
lakes.
I
I
still,
mean, her point is valid, I think, that what if they don't check their mail at every 2 weeks?
or they're not at home, they haven't signed for it, they gotta go to the post
Just a
office, and
PO
they don't do
box
that
or,
for a
yeah.
while. Because it looks like, you know, we could have a situation where somebody is truly needing to be suspended immediately, and yet they go ahead and eat or play golf or whatever, and then say, hey, I didn't get
I
anything.
don't
If they
know.
haven't taken
long-
a call, if I've been unsuccessful in
Right.
calling them, I've been unsuccessful in emailing them, and unsuccessful in certified mailing them, I don't know if there's any other alternative there.
But can we put something in here that says the suspension will begin on the date that a certified letter should have arrived? And is that a normal procedure where it's always 2 days or always 3 days, or
It's not, it's very.
That's by the mail.
It's the US mail. I
is
mean,
that something
yeah.
we should change to a FedEx or something next day FedEx to where they get that instead of a certified letter? Is that different legally to do it that way?
Yeah, I mean, again, with a certified letter, they're signing, so you have a date that they've signed and you know exactly when they've received it. A FedEx, you know, they drop it off at potentially.
Unless they ask for a
Unless you
signature.
ask for a signature, but then you're in the same position you
Yeah,
would
you
be
are.
with the certified mail.
Catching them at home to get the signature.
It
Yeah.
says received, it doesn't say signed. It doesn't say accepted, it says received.
Well, how do we know
So
it's received?
received is,
When it hits the mailbox?
it's the mailbox, right?
Yeah, how do we know that?
Yeah,
Because we get it on the green card.
we do. Oh, it comes back, but that
green-
didn't come
green
back for a
return.
couple of days though, does it?
Yeah,
No,
it doesn't.
yeah, it takes a good week or so.
I mean, if you've tried all those things, what about we suspend them in the system? You try everything that you've got there. You try everything, and at the same time you try, you're flagging them in the system.
Which means they can't go to any of the so the restaurants will know,
They show up
the
at the golf
will
course and they
know.
say, "Oh, sorry, sir, your membership's been suspended. You need to contact Tom Judson."
That's what I was getting
I
ready
mean,
to ask. Even at restaurants, they try to use their discount card. Sorry, you need to contact.
But we have a
management.
defensible position.
Mm-hmm, we've tried X,
Called,
Y, and Z.
emailed, mailed,
Yeah,
and you're finding out from the pro shop, not the preferred way to find out, but I don't know what else to tell you because we tried every other way.
I would agree with that. It might sound harsh, but if we've tried calling you, emailing you, certified mailing you, and we still haven't heard, I think, yeah, it should be shut off. And they can hear from somebody when they,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm good with that.
So are we okay with the current rating? Language?
As
I
long
think-
as you suspend them in the system.
Yeah, we do that.
You do that anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Do we
that
need to
anyway.
say that? No.
I don't think.
My only question is, all right, let's say a guy commits an egregious foul on Thursday night at Highlands. I'm just using that as an example. And Friday morning, you send out an email, you attempt to call, you send a certified letter on Friday. Does the suspension doesn't start Friday? does it start when it's reasonable that the certified letter would appear? That's my only question, is when does that
Let me
suspension
give you
start?
two answers. So if the person commits a crime,
Well, that's different.
okay, that's different. We're gonna include we're gonna involve, the police.
Yeah.
And we're gonna trespass them.
Right,
You know, we're gonna, because state law trumps this.
sure.
So we're just gonna go straight to the police and say, this person did this horrible criminal act. They are not welcome on, trespass them from here on out. We
Sure.
have the right to do that.
Right.
Okay. So normally what we do is, so I call and I email usually on the same day. And that's the day that I go into the system and say,
Okay,
I don't go into the system, someone else
someone
does.
that does, yes.
We go into the system and we suspend them right then and there.
Got
We're
it.
trying to act as quickly as possible. And if it's an egregious one, you know, I'm gonna probably call at least twice. You know, if it's a harassment one, which we've been having all too often lately, so.
Well, I have no problem with you starting that suspension right away. My question is, should we change this language to say the suspension shall begin on the date that the email and the phone call has been made? Or is that,
Can we do that?
can we do that? Or does it have to be
We
by?
do- well, that's our practice, can we do that?
I mean, here's my problem with that. 30 days is the maximum suspendable time, right? If we've suspended them for 5 days, they get their certified letter, they sign it. Are we counting that back to that first 5 days, or are we starting from that certified letter date out 30 days?
What we're doing, I'm suspending them the day that I send the email and place the call.
And you notify them at that time of their right to appeal as well.
Correct.
Which we're complying with that policy.
They get everything via email.
I
I like
don't want us
that.
to get into a bind where we suspend somebody 35 days because it
No,
shouldn't.
we
Okay.
don't. We base it upon, you know,
The date that it's in the system.
And I like that as long as we put that verbiage in this.
So really,
I
all
think we
that,
should
all
add
that certified mail then is actually doing for us is they have their 5-day window to notify intent to appeal. That's all the relevance of
And
the
the
certified letter
suspension
is.
starts then, let's say, and it continues on through their appeal, correct?
yes.
So, in other words, if they do something on Thursday and they get notified on Friday and the suspension starts Friday, but their hearing isn't until the next Friday, they're still suspended for
yeah,
that week.
yeah.
Correct.
Okay. And if that is rescinded, is there, I mean, I don't know that it would be, but if it's ever rescinded by appeal, do we have any process to give them those 5 days back?
Normally what occurred, so in my 10 years, there's only been one reversal. And the board determined that the person was originally suspended for 30 days, and then they determined after meeting with the member and the member's willingness to start cooperating, that they felt that the 2-week suspension was reasonable. I can't go back, I'm not gonna refund him 5 days worth of.
Yeah, well, there's nothing to
you know,
refund.
And keep in mind, anytime we're suspending, it's usually pretty egregious.
Right, of course.
Well, I was gonna
It's-
say, you
it's-
don't just do it on a whim.
And you already have verbiage in here saying that we will do a hearing as reasonably as we can, as quickly as we possibly
Okay.
can do, so.
Because, and I added that language because, there was a comment at this most recent one, well, I didn't have my certain number of days to write my letter, and we had the meeting so quickly, and my comment in my head was, well, no, I got the meeting as quickly as possible because,
Yeah. Yeah,
so I'm trying to help you out by having the appeal as quickly as possible. Plus, the timing was such that the board meeting, we had the board members together, so. Okay, I'll make those changes. I think on this one, we've made enough changes, we need to bring it back.
Bring it
next
back,
time.
yes.
I agree.
Moving on to 4.02.1. Once again, I added the chief executive officer will do their best to schedule a hearing as soon as reasonably possible. And then I made some modifications to the documentation one because that kind of messed things up. The appellate may, so we got rid of this shall, may provide a basis for the appeal in writing to the board at least 2 days before the hearing. And then we got rid of, if written notification is not received as required, the appeal is deemed dismissed and the final affirmative decision is handed down in favor of the association. So we got rid of that. If they want to write something, great. If they don't want to write something, fine. They just want to come in and talk,
That makes sense.
that's fine. It's up to them. Now, it's probably in their best interest to write something down. Probably would come over better, but that's up to them.
No issues with that.
On the board will set a hearing date, and then right below it says CEO will do their best to schedule a hearing. To me, those seem similar. Should it say the board and CEO will do their best to schedule an executive session or hearing as soon as reasonably possible?
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
That's
So
kind
it's
of
saying the
redundant.
board will set a hearing date, and it's also saying that you will be
Yeah, and
scheduling
you know,
a hearing.
technically, I can't. I
So-
can't. The board must. I don't have
The
that authority.
CEO
to tell
will
the
work
board
with the
to meet.
board
Yeah.
to set a hearing date
Yeah.
as reasonably.
I agree.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay.
So, you know, based upon what we heard at this most recent one appeal, is the person was like, well, where's your written documentation from the association? So I included in here, in most cases, the written documentation from the CEO will be limited to the suspension letter referenced in policy 4.02, because that suspension letter tells them what they did wrong, what policy they violated, what their suspension, that, I don't need anything else.
And this isn't a court of law, so
And
I
this
think
is
that's
not a
where he
court of
was,
law.
or she or whatever was a little bit off, but, anyway.
Okay.
Cover that one? Okay. And then we added, this is like kind of cross-examining. If any of the witnesses are employees of the association, the employees are not required to attend the appeal hearing, and a member of Human Resources Department may speak on behalf of the employees. And I think I already came up with something. I want to add something. If anybody doesn't want to, we talk, you know, in the news you hear about double victimization. If there's a harassment and that member has harassed the employee and we're suspending them, and then we're not going to bring that employee in here for them to further harass and say,
Right.
that's not what I said, you know,
Yeah.
we're not doing that.
Yeah.
We're going to have HR speak on their behalf. But I think I need to modify this is if any of the witnesses are employed, maybe add a second sentence. Maybe the person had harassed a fellow customer, fellow member. I don't want to force them to attend either.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
Because when I spoke with this individual, they were like, well, I want to face my accuser. No, this isn't a court of law. No.
Yeah. And that can be very intimidating for the one that's been harassed.
Well, and we've had some harassment of 16-year-old employees. I'm not gonna bring in a 16-year-old employee and have them cross-examine. No, that's not gonna happen. Talk about an EEOC claim, geez, okay. We'll lose that one in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not in the agenda, but.
Could we go back?
Yes,
I'm sorry.
We're
I
going to
noticed.
go back. No, there's
Yeah,
no
we-
could.
All right. Under the 4.02, just help me understand this sentence. It's number 2. The member owns property which has been determined by the ACC to be in violation of. What does that have to do with anything? Help me get there.
So, who would the appeal go to? Would it go to ACC or would it come here? Cause that's ACC
This
can
is
suspend
penalizing.
membership.
This is just
privileges.
in general, yeah.
I think what it's saying on there is, this is my understanding of, and maybe, since we're talking about it, maybe it needs some work, but my understanding of this is that the ACC has told you that you violated this rule and you're ignoring them. So in addition to, the ACC is probably gonna put some sort of legal action against you on the property, but we also have the ability to remove your playing, you're not gonna be able to play golf either.
Right.
And since now that the ACC and the POA are by and large one and the same,
Yeah.
I think we want to be able to keep that in there.
I know, it's just,
absolutely.
it was confusing, that's all. When I just saw that, I thought, what
Do
does
you
that
want
have
us
to
to
do?
work on the
I
language?
think
Because
it's
that's how I read it.
If it's okay, it's
Yeah,
okay.
It's good.
All right,
Yeah,
I just was trying to figure out how that applied. Okay, go ahead, sorry.
Love it.
Okay. And this wasn't on the agenda, but, so I went through and I looked at the bylaws also, and then Jessica sent out a copy, and then the next day I took a look at the copy and I didn't like it, so I made another change, and Jessica was on PTO, Millie's first day of kindergarten.
Yeah.
And so I sent out another copy, and so this is the latest version. Let me pull it up on the screen. Because the way it was written, I was concerned that it prevented us from those really bad situations that we can remove the person and suspend them immediately. So the way it says right now is no suspension, as mentioned above, shall take effect until the member in question has been extended the right to appeal in accordance with policy 4.02.1. If you read that, it means, okay, something horrible just occurred at the bar. We need that. We have got to be able, we have to have the right for that manager to remove that person from the facility. And I don't want them to say, well, no, he didn't tell me about my right to appeal, so I'm not leaving the bar. So I went through and I changed this where when the member is informed of their suspension, they must also be informed of their right to appeal in accordance with the policy. If an immediate and urgent need arises, a member can be prohibited from accessing association amenities by association staff, keyword there, staff, provided the member is formally notified of their suspension and their right to appeal in a timely manner. So that gives staff, now we limit it to managers, so it's not going to just be any person saying, get out of here. It's limited to managers, but we have to have that ability because, you know, it happens on Saturday night at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. They can't reach me, what have you. We have to be able to give them that authority to say, we have the right to refuse business and you need to leave right now.
And you'll give them some sort of training so they don't forget to tell them about the appeal.
We tell them about this quite a bit.
Okay.
We train our staff, our managers on this. We've trained our staff on this, and I alluded to this earlier, and I've mentioned this at board meetings. We got some problems. We've had multiple 5 over the last 6 months instances of harassment on employees.
That's bad.
And so, you know, the comment that I said is, I went to the doctor, to Mercy, a couple weeks ago for just a regular doctor's appointment. You'd think the first sign that you see as you're entering Mercy before you hit those first doors would be like a welcome to Mercy. No, it's a big sign about you will not harass our
That's right.
employees. That's- And you know what? We may have to do the same thing because it's been bad lately. And we're trying to get it under control, and we're trying to suspend people and so forth, but it's been bad lately.
Well, you're right about that sign, and it's like in your face too at Mercy, so you know they've had trouble.
Yeah.
Well, I think that only makes sense. I mean, we have to have the right to remove the problem.
Yep.
Immediately, have to.
Yeah, this is pretty straightforward, I think.
I mean,
And
they do that in bars. You have bouncers that remove you forcibly.
They sure do.
sounds like on personal experience.
No, not at all.
Oh, he was a bouncer.
No, I'm a lover, not a fighter. No, but I've seen movies, so I know they do that.
Well, one of the first defenses they always say is, I'm a member, you can't kick me off the property. And this is very clear. You can be removed. And from a legal standpoint, yes, we can refuse service.
should.
Just because you're a member, we can't deny your access to your home, but we can deny your access to common property for good cause.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, so do we need to, can we just say, let's move them all? Or do we,
I think 4.02, we bring it back next month.
okay,
And I think, there's enough changes to 4.02.1. I think we bring that one back next month. I think the only ones that we do are the bylaws, which we didn't change any further, and the term limits. We didn't
Yes,
change. I think
yes.
just those two are the ones that move forward.
do we need to make a motion of that, or we just say? Okay, could I have a motion, please, to move those?
I make a motion to move
1.04
1.04
and the bylaws
and the bylaws
forward.
forward
To the board? A second? All in favor? Great.
Outstanding.
Okay, are there any open forum issues? I don't see any people. No emails, nothing. Okay. Next meeting as needed, it sounds like it's needed for next month.
I think we have it next month. Now, we do have a, Dave loves meetings. We do have a change in the schedule for next month. The GM meeting is on the 8th, which is a Tuesday.
That's right.
Can we meet at 1:30 on the 8th?
Yes. We will.
What time is the GM meeting? 2:30?
2:30.
2:30.
Okay. Okay, that sounds good.
Move it to the 8th, you said?
9/8 at 1:30. Okay, anything else before we adjourn? No? All right. We are adjourned.